Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're jumping right into the high-stakes math of sizing DC protection for a 48-volt system. You know, a 48-volt setup is a calm, incredibly precise machine when it's designed right, but man, it is also one of the absolute most dangerous if you get it wrong. So, we're going to use real electrical math and solid safety principles to figure out exactly how to size your breakers and megafuses, because let's be honest, in DC systems, protection isn't just some optional upgrade. It's literally about survival. Okay, so let's tackle a really common, totally logical assumption that almost everyone makes when they're sketching out their off-grid setup. A lot of folks will look at their spec sheets and think, all right, if my inverter pulls 200 amps, I'll just throw in a 200 amp breaker. I mean, it sounds perfectly reasonable, right? It makes total intuitive sense to just match the numbers on the labels. Well, that intuitive assumption, it's actually dead wrong. Sizing protection isn't just about matching up numbers on a label. It's fundamentally about load behavior and building in safety margins. You see, in electrical systems, we can't just look at what a device pulls in one perfect, fleeting moment. We really have to look at how it behaves over time. Think of it kind of like a car engine. Sure, it can hit 7,000 RPM, but you definitely wouldn't drive it there constantly and not expect something to eventually blow up. To really get why this matters, we need to talk about something called a continuous load. And the magic number to keep in your head here is 3 hours. If your system is drawing power steadily for 3 hours or more, well, that's when the National Electrical Code steps in with a really crucial rule. They know that sustained current generates sustained heat. And heat is the absolute worst enemy of your electrical components. Because of all that built-up heat, the NEC actually requires you to add 125% adjustment for any of these continuous loads. You literally cannot run a breaker at 100% of its max capacity indefinitely without it eventually overheating and degrading on you. So think of this 125% rule as giving your system some much-needed breathing room. It creates that essential safety margin so everything stays cool and reliable, even when you're pushing it hard for hours. So this means our whole math equation changes. Taking that 200 amp continuous draw we talked about and multiplying it by our 1.25 adjustment factor means your breaker actually needs to be sized for 250 amps. If you just stuck with that 200 amp breaker, you'd be dealing with constant, super frustrating nuisance trips just during everyday operation. And that's just because the breaker simply couldn't handle the continuous thermal load you were throwing at it day in and day out. But here's the catch, and this is where it gets really serious. Your breaker isn't just there to protect your expensive inverter. Its main job, first and foremost, is to protect your wiring. Why? Because wire fails way before electronics do. If your cable isn't rated to safely carry that 250 amps and you pull that much current, the wire itself is going to overheat, melt its insulation, and start a fire. If your breaker doesn't blow during a fault, the wire essentially becomes the fuse. And trust me, copper wiring is a really expensive, highly flammable fuse. You definitely do not want that. Now, a lot of people tend to think breakers and fuses do the exact same thing, but their jobs are actually distinctly different. The breaker is there for the everyday stuff. It lets you manually shut things off so you can work safely, and it handles those slow, gradual overloads. But a megafuse, that is your absolute last line of defense. It's specifically designed to act as the ultimate failsafe for when everything goes terribly, terribly wrong. And let me tell you, when things go wrong in a 48-volt system, they go wrong violently. A battery bank, whether it's lithium or lead acid, is an incredibly dense source of energy. We're talking about a setup that can instantly dump thousands of amps in a fraction of a second. If you get a dead short, a major cable failure, or a sudden battery surge, the megafuse is built to react incredibly fast to that violence. Without it, a short circuit doesn't just quietly trip your system. It literally explodes into a terrifying electrical arc. Having the right fuse is only half the battle, though. Where you put it is absolutely critical. You have to place it as close to the battery's positive terminal as physically possible, and for sure before any long cable runs. Doing this guarantees that if a massive fault happens downstream, it gets isolated immediately. You're basically chopping off the power right at the source, long before all that raw energy can travel down your wires and turn into an explosion. So here's a massive, often overlooked danger. The reason DC arcs are so incredibly hard to stop compared to AC. Look at the power in your house. AC power actually crosses 0 volts 50 or 60 times every single second. That tiny, microscopic moment of 0 voltage naturally helps snuff out an electrical arc. But DC current? It is just a relentless, continuous flow of energy. There is no zero crossing. Once a DC arc strikes, it feeds itself and it does not stop on its own. It's actually kind of wild how aggressive a DC arc can be. Because of that continuous flow, using a standard AC breaker in your DC setup is basically asking for a disaster. An AC breaker just isn't engineered to pull apart a continuous DC plasma arc. It might completely fail to open, the intense heat could physically weld its contacts shut, or it could just sustain this massive arc internally until the whole thing literally melts into a puddle of plastic. This right here is exactly why using properly rated DC parts is absolutely non-negotiable. When you zoom out and look at the whole system, it really is a delicate balancing act. If your coordination is even slightly off, you're backing yourself into a corner. Put in an undersized breaker, and you're dealing with constant nuisance shutdowns. Use an oversized fuse, and your wire melts and becomes a fire hazard long before that fuse ever thinks about blowing. Grab the wrong breaker type, and it welds shut when you need it most. And if you skip the fuse at the battery entirely, well, you're practically guaranteeing an immediate, destructive plasma arc if a short happens. It's all about finding that perfect balance between continuous current, wire capacity, and fault potential. Always keep this one core philosophy in mind when you're building or upgrading. The battery is the source of danger, and the wire is the weakest link. Your breakers and your megafuses, they don't exist to save themselves. Their entire purpose in life is to sacrifice themselves before your system does. If you design this correctly, your setup is going to run safely and reliably for years. But if you get it wrong, a failure isn't just going to be a minor inconvenience. It's going to be immediate and highly destructive. So take a really hard look at your own setup today. Double-check your math against those NEC safety rules we just went over. Are you just blindly matching up labels, or have you actually built in that 125% continuous load margin and real fault protection? Make sure your system isn't just designed to turn on. Ask yourself right now, is your setup truly designed to protect your home, or is it just sitting there waiting for a chance to become a 250 amp plasma torch?